ये भी पता आपको। चलो कंप्लीट करके देना आप क्वेश्चन।
Good evening to one and all. Respected dignitaries, honorable resource person, our beloved principal, dear colleagues, and enthusiastic participants. It gives me great pleasure to once again address you all the third day of our 6 days online faculty development program on cultivating innovation AI in healthcare, organized by the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, Magendra College of Engineering, Salem, with the sponsorship of the AICT Training and Learning Atal Academy. Of course, it would be possible without the vision and the support of the AICT Atal Academy, and we are deeply grateful to them for sponsoring and enabling such knowledge sharing platforms. With 2 days now successfully completed, this FDP has already proven to be a journey. I am confident that the coming days will continue to inspire, enlighten, and equip us all with new knowledge and innovative ideas. Thank you, everyone.
A very good evening to each and every one of you. It is wonderful to have you with us once again today. Now, to introduce our esteemed resource person, I invite Dr. R. Rekha ma'am, Head of the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science and Coordinator of AICTE sponsored Atal 6-Day Online Faculty Development Program.
It is both an honor and a privilege to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Professor Dr. K. Suresh Joseph Sir, a distinguished academic, seasoned researcher and respected educator from the Department of Computer Science, School of Engineering and Technology, Pondicherry University, Pondicherry. Professor Suresh Joseph Sir academic journey is marked by excellence and diversity. He holds a PhD in Computer Science and Engineering from Anna University, along with an ME in Computer Science and Engineering from the University of Madras, completing his technical expertise. He also holds an MBA in Human Resources, a postgraduate diploma in HR Management, and a BE in Computer Science and Engineering, reflecting his well-rounded academic profile. With over 13 years of academic experience, Professor Dr. Joseph Sir has built a reputation as an expert in soft computing, named data networking (NDN), and intelligent transportation systems, areas that are crucial to the future of smart cities, AI, and secure data infrastructure. His contribution to research are remarkable. In 2024, he was granted a patent for his innovative work titled LSTM AM based Safe Route Navigation System, which leverages artificial intelligence to improve road safety and navigation efficiency, a testament to his forward thinking approach. He has published extensively in reputed international journals, showcasing novel algorithms and optimization techniques that address real world challenges. Through his research and teaching, Professor Joseph Sir has consistently bridged the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical innovation. As a professor, mentor, and thought leader, he continues to guide students, researchers, and young professionals to excel in the fast evolving world of computing and intelligence systems. Today, we are truly fortunate to have him among us to share his insights and inspire us all. Please join me in giving a warm and respectful welcome to our chief guest, resource person, Professor Dr. K. Suresh Joseph, sir. Welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. So, first of all, I would like to congratulate the department for applying for this Atal FDP. And since the time duration that was given to me is only 1.5 hours, so I'll be trying to finish the topic that has been given to me. So, as we all know very well, now today we are living in a world where we have data which is around us. So I hope in the traditional computational models, whatever we have seen, we all felt that we have to develop an algorithm, and the algorithm what we develop in turn will take input and it has a logic behind it, and the logic is fixed and predetermined. Now we live in a world where we have data which is around us, and this data is going to drive us. And earlier we had computation which we call as traditional computational models. Now we have a data driven computational model which is driving the entire world. And we always face, or whenever we go, we come across a fancy term, and even the department is also named as AI&DS. So we find AI is everywhere. So now, usually as an academician, wherever we go, we always say AI should be used as a tool, not as a solution provider. So this is basically a thing which I wanted to advocate or to insist to each and every one of you, because usually we always feel that AI can replace human. So usually AI is not a replacement for human, because we always claim or we always advocate or we always defend saying that AI cannot replace human, because we always say AI needs a domain expert. So without domain expert, AI cannot work. And if it is going to do what sort of misleading it is going to do, that we will be discussing in today's lecture. So I'll be focusing more on AI enabled virtual health assistants and chatbots. So as I said in the beginning, we live in a world which is filled with data. So the kind of data what is around us, it can be measured in zettabytes. So if you have a look at today's scenario, we find to the extent of 181 zettabytes of data has been created as per the record. So this is the secondary source of information. It says we, as per the design rush records, we find we have 181 zettabytes of data. And this 181 zettabytes of data is found to be multiplied or doubled for every 3 years. And if you have a look at today's scenario, even as a user, we generate some data, we find some data in Facebook, Twitter, wherever we go, we find data, and we also generate some data. And on the other side, we find there are several IoT devices which are also generating data. So roughly we find this has a probability of having doubling every 3 years. So you can imagine we are going to live in a world where we have data which is around us. So as I said in the beginning, initially computation was designed around data. Now the entire data is going to design the computation, or the decisions whatever we are going to make, it is being made based on the data. So I hope now you can understand the kind of volume that we have around us and how much data is created and what sort of data we face. Like if you have a look at a present scenario, now we find all the insurance record billing agencies, they have data that is centered around them. Like all diagnosis, whatever they make, the test billing they make, all these data has also been flooded into the cloud storage. And on the other side, we find there are several sensor devices, which is also generating data. And similarly, we have wearable devices, like all of us, we have smart watches. And through these wearable devices also, we also generate data. And on the other side, we find government has a registration department, which is also generating data. Like we have a registry for recording the birth, death, etc. So where we find data has been recorded. Similarly, we have data which is generated by our own smartphones, and we also find search engines are also generating several data, like it scraps the information and it also generates the data. Similarly, on the other side, we find like social media networking sites are also generating data, and the electronic media record, which we are going to primarily focus, is also having generating some data. And we also find that there are some surveillance registries which are also generating data. Like you all might have heard about during the COVID season, we have come across several COVID surveillance registries, which records information about present situation and post-COVID, how it has been handled, etc. All registries are there. So now we live in a world where we are centered with data and we are surrounded with data. So we cannot go without data anywhere. And even if you talk to some people, they will say, what is the data? What is the primary source of data? As a researcher, also, we find we need to focus on primary data and secondary data. So data is flooded everywhere. And we know very well that data is flooding like anything. So I want you to emphasize wherever you teach or wherever you practice, please tell either researchers or your students that AI is just a tool. It is not a solution provider, because wherever we go, we find people are using AI as a solution provider. So this cannot be taken into task. And on the other side, there are several Nobel laureates who also caution us, like who also dictate us. Like recently, I found in a newspaper that Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel laureate, he has said AI can transform human being into beggar. So we find this Nobel laureate claims that AI can make human being into a beggar. So you can understand the kind of power what AI has. So please understand AI should be restricted as a tool alone. And on the other side, there are some people like who always tell whether you may be facing with researchers or students. You might have heard about a word saying, I used such a plugin AI model and I am getting this output. So they will never say how it is going to run or on what basis it is being done. So they will just say that it is going to solve their problem. They feel that AI is a plug-in model. But please understand, AI can revolutionize engineering research. It can only enhance the research, but it cannot supplement your research. So this is how AI is now in current scenario. Like we find AI is revolutionizing the engineering research by enhancing efficiency, accuracy, and innovation. So in all my discussions, whatever slide I'm going to show, I will make sure that the efficiency, accuracy, and sort of innovation what AI is doing, I'll be highlighting. And on the other side, we find Now, AI powered virtual health assistants, chatbots are transforming today's world. Like, though it is not popularly used in India, like we find the major users, end users are from US, UK, where there is limited physicians. So we find AI virtual health assistants are just replacing physicians. So that is the scenarios. Up to the statistical data, what we have, it says 34% of people are using it. And these intelligent tools, it leverages AI, ML to enhance efficiency, accuracy, and patient engagement within the healthcare settings. And now we find there is a paradigm shift in AI. Like this AI is not a bubbling word which is coming nowadays, though we have AI departments, but still we find this AI was existing in 1960s. So we find there is a paradigm shift from AI. So initially we had expert systems where we find the source of knowledge is the human expert. So human experts, they'll be giving the source of data, and with that, with the fixed rules, we have to operate, and you find you are able to do certain things. Now we find in the next evolution we had machine learning, where we have a database which is having relationships. Like, as we all know very well, database maintains relationships, and we find some rules are there and some networks are also helping us to solve the problem. And then we migrated from machine learning to deep learning, where we find all the sensory inputs along with the database input is also taken as input, and now we are working with that. And we are going to face a world where we find general intelligence is also going to come in near future, and we find everything will be taken care by the general intelligence. So here in this paradigm shift, we find when we are moving from expert systems to the machine learning model, we find it addresses the knowledge engineering bottleneck. So as we all know very well, knowledge engineering bottleneck is there in expert systems. So we migrated to machine learning. And with respect to deep learning, we find it does all feature engineering work. So now we are able to solve all the feature engineering problems with the help of deep learning. And when we move to the general purpose intelligent technology, we'll be able to customize it, or we'll be able to personalize it. So this is about the evolution of AI. And now I'll go to the healthcare chatbots, because this is the topic that has been assigned to me. So we find healthcare chatbots are programs that employ AI and natural language processing to simulate the conversation with patients. So when we are talking about chatbots, so basically a question that arises in mind, whether ChatGPT is a chatbot. Yes, ChatGPT is a chatbot. And what is the limitation of a chatbot, and what ChatGPT can do is, like, as we all know very well, ChatGPT can handle complex situations. And with respect to open-ended conversations, whatever we make, it will be able to interpret, and it will be able to deliver all the informations. So we find this chat GPT, it uses a deep learning model where the massive training of data has been going on, and we find the context aware responses we are able to get. Like, according to the context, what you are searching for, you will be able to get. So this is the power of chat GPT, whereas we have a limitation in chatbots, because chatbots are some programs which are designed to simulate a conversation. It can have a limited conversation. And we find these chatbots are of three types: informative, conversational, prescriptive. So these are the three types of chatbots which are available in today's world. And chatbots in healthcare industry are used for appointment scheduling, data gathering, recommending some medications, reminders, assessing symptoms, illness monitoring. So all these support chatbots it does. And according to the statistics of global usage, so up to 2023 only it has been recorded in the secondary source of media. We find the patient interactions in 2023, over 450 million interactions were recorded surrounding appointment fixing, symptom checking, medication reminders, and mental health counseling. So this is about the statistics what we have up to 2023. So we don't have the statistical data from 2024 onwards, but to some extent we can imagine that that can be an increase. So the coming slide, what I'm going to highlight, will focus you about what sort of improvement that we find in the market shares. And on the other side, we find, so this chatbots are initially it is being used for mental health support. So mental health chatbots are there, which are being 34% being used with over 112 million sessions worldwide in 2023. And we also find this chatbots are used for solving some administrative inconveniences. So, as we all know very well, nowadays we need to go to a physician, take his appointment, fix a slot, and you are shuttled between the hospitals and your residences. So, these things are there. So, now we find after this healthcare chatbots are introduced, we find this administrative work is made, and we also find this administrative inconveniences, it has been reduced. So this is about the value of healthcare chatbot statistics. So you can find the global healthcare chatbot market, it has been valued at US dollar of 307.2 million in 2022, and it is projected to reach up to US dollar of 1.6 billion by 2032. So within a period of 10 years, it has been forecasted that such a huge increase has been done. Like you can find in the screen, like starting from 2020 onwards, you could find there is a increase in the graph. It has been gradually increasing. And if you have a look at 2030, after 2030, you will find there is a tremendous growth which has been visualized in healthcare chatbots, and there exists a lot of potential in the chatbot research. So I'll be highlighting in the coming slides about what sort of research can be done, or what sort of innovations can be done with respect to chatbots. So this is about the advantages of chatbots. We find chatbots are readily available round the clock, 24 bar 7 it is available. And we find you are able to get your immediate responses. Like as soon as you raise a query, you are getting the response. Several deep learning models are being requested to generate data, and you are getting the response immediately. And you are able to access to the medical knowledge immediately. So this how you are able to achieve is with the help of several web scrapers that are available. You are able to scrape information from several sources of media, and you are able to get the information. And the next thing is you are able to smartly manage all the resources. So this smart resource management is another highlight of this chatbot. And you also find there exists high patient satisfaction. So this I don't agree to some extent, but to some extent, several secondary resources they claim that high patient satisfaction is there. I will touch on this point of high patient satisfaction in the coming slide. I will tell why satisfaction cannot be claimed to higher level. And on the other side, we find when patients are being admitted, whether readmission is required, whether they need to come for regular checkup, all these things can also be taken care with the help of chatbots. You may have a question in mind how this chatbots can help me, or how it can recommend for readmission. Like if you have a look at cases, let us assume you are staying in a remote area where your parents are staying in another geographical location. Let us assume that you are residing in another geographical area and your parents are in the other side. And let us assume if they are having a smartwatch which is with them, it can detect the heart rates, their sleeping patterns, their walking patterns. All the patterns can be watched. The continuous patterns can be watched. And you find these chatbots, it checks on regular basis because it is a continuous data. And you also find if there exists some irregularity, immediately you will find you may get an alert that your parents are not going to bed regularly, or they are not able to sleep properly, or their heart rates are not proper. So all these things you will be able to get. So you can intervene with the systems, though you are residing in several miles which are far away. So this is a kind of recommendation which chatbots can also give. So lower readmission rates are noticed after chatbot has been into the markets. And we also find there exists the care cost, which is also reduced, because our primary concern is, as an engineer, we wanted to reduce the cost, or we wanted to optimize the cost. So this is about the reduced cost. And these are the three categories of chatbots which are in popular, like informative chatbots, conversational chatbots, prescriptive chatbots. And some of the popularly used chatbots globally I have listed. Like you find that exists a chatbot called Babylon Health, which is a AI powered symptom checker where you can give some symptoms and you can check what is your health about and what sort of recommendations you need to take or what sort of medication you need to take. All the virtual consultations can be done with the help of this chatbot, which is called as a Babylon Health chatbot. And we find this offers a video consultation with doctors also. Like this pays a room for telemedicine also, and which has been widely used in UK and US, and also several developing countries are also using this Babylon Health chatbot. And the next chatbot, which is also popularly used, is the Ada Health, which is a symptom assessment chatbot where you can ask some question, like you can query with the chatbot with some symptoms, whatever you face, and it will be able to diagnose it. And now there exists another question whether diagnosis is proper or not. So that is the biggest question, or which is the biggest worry, which is also lying. And with the help of AI, we are able to analyze the symptom and we are able to guide to the next step. And the next, these are some of the other chatbots which are popularly used. Your.md is one which is also practiced in India, which is also used by Indians. And also several Asian countries are using this Your.md. So, which is also a symptom checker and a health information chatbot, which provides personalized health information and self-care tips. So these are some of the popular healthcare chatbots which are globally used. And also this Sensely is also used by a majority Indians, which is a virtual nurse chatbot with a avatar interface. So it offers symptom assessment and also some insurance navigation. It will be able to help. Like after you tell these are the symptoms that you face, it will say whether your insurance coverage is there for such disease or whether you can go to this hospital. All the recommendations are being given by this insurance navigation chatbot, which is called Sensely. And also you have Molly by Sensely, which is also another chatbot, which is a variant of the Sensely, which is also practiced in India. So the other universally practiced chatbots are Giant, Florence. So these are some of the chatbots which are being used. The next thing is what chatbots can do in healthcare. Like how the patient engagement and how the experience of the patient can be collected. It's like you find all the colleges nowadays, we find colleges, they have some chatbots which will ask you some queries. Like if you ask what are the courses the college is offering, whether placement is there, all the information it scrapes from the websites and it will give you immediately. So this is about chatbots in healthcare also. So you will be able to give some symptoms, or you will be able to fix some appointments, or you will be able to ask chatbots whether these disease can be covered with my insurance. So all these things you can do. And the next thing is chatbots in healthcare. We find it helps the patient for enriching their experiences. So you find 52% of patients in US, like as I said in the beginning, though it is not practiced in India, but in developed countries like US, UK, 52 percentage of patients in US get their healthcare data through chatbots, showing the growing acceptance of this technology. So you can imagine the kind of acceptance ratio. Almost 50% of US citizens, they are accepting this AI chatbots. And the efficiency is you can rely on the chatbots 22/7, because whether there exists any strike or whether there exists any abnormal situation like what we faced during COVID, in all those situations, you find this efficiency of chatbots. It was good. And on the other side, chatbots are projected to save the healthcare industry as much as $3.7 billion by automating various processes. So I hope we all know very well when automation is coming into picture, automatically we can claim for cost reduction. So that is also been supplemented or complemented by this healthcare chatbots. And now I would like to highlight what are the common challenges that if we are going to implement an AI chatbot, what are the common challenges that we will face? So, as we all know very well, the basic challenge what AI chatbots faces is hallucination. Like we all know very well, So this chatbots can mislead you. Let us assume now I have a health issue, like let us assume that I face with a headache. And immediately, if you're going to ask your chatbots that you have a continuous headache for more than 1 or 2 days, and let us assume that because of your headache, you are not able to take food properly, and there is a blood vision, like you face with some drowsiness. So, what you will feel that there exists a blood vision and there is a headache. If this input is being given to a chatbot, the hallucination what chatbot can do is it can do a misdiagnosis and it can tell you that it could be a migraine headache. Like now, this migraine headache is one which is being popularly used in today's world. Like people say when there exists a continuous headache, they always say, I have a migraine pain. So, which is also called as a migraine headache. So, this migraine headache is something which we face nowadays, and we find there could be a misleading or a misdiagnosis with this. So, always we find persistent headache, when this input is given to a chatbot, it may misguide you, saying that it can be a sinus infection or it can say it can be a migraine. So, all these misinterpretation AI chatbot can give, or we can say because of overconfidence, AI chatbot can give such a harmful recommendation. So, patients, when they come across such incorrect medical advices, or when they come across such false recommendations, immediately what they may do, they may go for some drugs which are not correct, and this incorrect drugs can also cause some misleading diseases also. Some, because of misdiagnosis, we find there exists an incorrect drug treatment. So all these things can be made with the help of hallucination, like, or we can say hallucination is something where misleading can happen. So this is one which is alarming with the AI chatbots. Now, in the coming discussion, I'll focus that how this misleading information, or else how this can be avoided, how hallucination can be avoided. And the next challenge what we face is the context gap. So as we all know very well, the medical discipline requires a history of the patient. Like wherever we go, when we take a patient to any hospital, immediately the doctor will ask what is the patient history, whether the patient is allergic to some medicines, or whether the patient has come across such illness in the past, etc. So all these things we come across. So always, if it is having a medical history, that medical history should be taken into consideration, which in majority cases AI chatbot doesn't address the context gap. The context gap is something where, like, you always claim that the gap can be reduced only with the help of the history of the patient or with the help of the past records. So, past records, a patient may not recollect, or the patient may not be in a position to recall it. In majority cases, they will say, I have taken some medicine, but the medicine name I am not able to tell. So, all these symptoms or all these practical difficulties usually we face. And let us assume that there is going to be a patient who is coming from a rural belt, and let us assume that the patient is having a sickness of fever, a high fever. So usually in rural terms, they will be expressing their inabilities. Let us assume that they are going to give an input that I am burning up. Because of high temperature, they are saying I am burning up. So when they say I am burning up, usually what the AI model will think, the AI model will think that there is a fire, and because of fire there is a hot climate, etc. Something like that. It may misinterpret. So this is termed as a context gap. So this is about one issue which is to be addressed. So if you are going to address this context gap, then you can improve the accuracy, and you can also able to achieve maximum trust on the chatbots. So this is one which researchers can address. The next thing is about the black box problem. All chatbots, as we all know very well, when we give the symptoms, the chatbots will give the recommendations, and these recommendations or the diagnosis, whatever chatbots are making, it may not explain why it is giving such medicine, or why it is telling that because of this symptom, this is the disease that you are facing. All these explanations chatbots will not do. And now we find after explainable AI, we are able to address all these things. And as soon as a symptom is given, explainable AI is augmenting the chatbot with some information like this could be because of this, all the justifications it is giving. So what I would like to highlight here is we have to think about the information, or we have to take the information saying that because of this reason, this recommendation is given. With that, you can identify whether the recommendation that is being given is correct or not. The next thing is it lacks emotions, because always when we work with any AI model, so this is popularly being used in all AI models, because even in the beginning itself, I said when I am advocating to AI, I said AI is only a tool, it cannot be a solution provider, because we approach as a teacher, we approach any student, or as a researcher we approach any scholar with some emotional intelligence. So this is one which all AI models lacks. So it lacks the emotional intelligence. The next thing is it has a bias, and all the AI chatbots, it faces with this issue of bias. What is bias? So usually, as we all know very well, in the beginning itself, I said, now we live in a world where the entire world is centered on data, or we live in a world where the data is, we are driven by the data. So when we are driven by the data, the biggest challenge what we face is we have to ensure that we have a diversity of data, or we need to have a representation of data from all corners. So this is one which is practically not possible, especially with respect to India, because we have a northeastern belt where we have limited technology, and we also have some states where technology cannot reach down the line. So these are some of the challenges which we face. So ensuring bias or ensuring data diversity in representation could be one biggest challenge which we may face with respect to chatbots. So I hope, let us assume we have some coastal belts like Lakshadweep and all, where collecting information from patients in Lakshadweep is the biggest challenge, because there are some islands in Lakshadweep which are not having even network connectivity. So this biased data or less diversified data can result in some issue. So we have to ensure data diversity when we are representing a data. And similarly, on the other side, when we are representing data, we need to ensure that it is not biased with respect to age, it is not biased with respect to gender, it is not biased with respect to any language, or it is not biased to any religion. So this is, as I said in the beginning, with respect to India, we have all these hurdles which are like disturbing us like anything. So this bias is a biggest challenge. And also we find if it is going to lack with such a balanced data, always we need to depend on synthetic data. When we are going to depend on synthetic data, we may face with several misconceptions. So that is another thing. So the biggest challenge now all the AI chatbots faces are all groups should be represented. All groups means all people from all cultural experiences, all diverse experiences should be included. And if they are all included, then validation and testing will be very easy, or it can be done much easier. So this is an important thing which we need to think. And also we have some historical data, which is a biased data. Like let us assume if you are going to take a data where the samples are mostly falling between 2020 to till date. Ultimately, we know very well that after COVID, now things are different. The post-COVID situations are alarming like anything. Like the kind of death rate what we faced during the COVID is much more equal to the rate what we experience now. So this is about another important challenge that we face. So historical data bias is also influencing chatbots like anything. So what is historical data bias? Is about data with respect to a particular timeline. Let us assume if I take data which is from 2020 to 2022, then
you may find people who use chatbots might have uh, been dismissed from the world, or they may not exist in the world. So all these things can give an alarming result. So this should also be taken. And the next thing is, patient from different demographic locations, they get different recommendation. So this is another important challenge which we face. Let us assume that if a chatbot in India, if it is going to respond to a query that you have a cold for 2 3 days, like the query that is given is, I have a cold for 2 3 days, and immediately you will find chatbot will give you some medication, and the medicines whatever it recommends, it will be maybe on par with the physician's recommendations, it will be there. Let us assume if the same query is coming from a patient in a developed country, then you will find the chatbot will give a different recommendation. Or on the other side, I can say the demographic location makes them to think about a different case, because we have, to some extent, we have uh, a level of accepting the disease to some extent, because in regional language we always say Joran Talavali will stay for 3 days, like you will have fever and cough at least for 3 days. So such a practice we have, but with respect to developed countries, people are not ready to accept. So this is about the kind of assessments what chatbots it does, or else I can say what inconsistency which chatbot is doing. So these are some of the challenges, like whatever I have discussed now, it has been highlighted in the screen. Like we find the patient data needs to be kept safe and compliant. So like we have some acts which is there, like HIPAA Act, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which is there. Similarly, we have a GDPR Act, General Data Protection Regulation Act. These are some of the acts which is governing the data of the patient. So we need to keep the patient data safe and compliant. And connecting with the existing healthcare system is another important challenge. So I'll be addressing like what are the difficulties that we will face if you're going to connect with the existing healthcare systems. And similarly, getting patients to trust the chatbots, this is the biggest challenge. Like as I said in the beginning, when we are giving our symptoms, chatbots can give some recommendations which are misleading recommendations or misguiding recommendations. And the next thing is you have to make sure that chatbots give accurate advices. So how this can be dealt is you can make a comparison with a clinical physician. Like a clinicians can be invited, they can be given with all these things, and we can ask them to map whether it is giving correct advices. So based on those inputs, you can also verify that. And the next thing is about handling emergencies the right way, because in certain cases emergency handling is required. Now we find there exists a new branch of medicine which is also emerging, which is called trauma care, critical care, or emergency care. So I hope you can understand the kind of emergency handling which we require nowadays. So these are some of the important challenges that AI healthcare chatbots are facing. And now we find several models are there. So I'll be highlighting about what are the various models that are into picture and why these models can be used. Like I will highlight in the coming session about what federated learning can contribute, or how this federated learning model can help in healthcare industry. Because though we have several learning models, like several supervised learning, semi-supervised learning model, transfer learning models are there, but still I'll touch on why federated learning can be used in healthcare chatbots. So as I said in the beginning, there are several acts which are into existence, like HIPAA Act. These acts, it focuses mainly on the patient's data. Like patient data should be preserved. So this federated learning, it does all the training across multiple devices, even I can say across multiple geographical locations. It does the training without sharing the patient data. It will tell that this is the observation. And federated learning also preserves the privacy. And I'll also supplement how it lacks with robustness in the coming slide. And we find it does a decentralized training. So in all cases, whatever we have come across, we find centralized training was done in several cases. And with respect to federated learning, we rely on only individual machines, not on the central server. So work is being done in a distributed way. and we find the model updates alone is being given. So model updates are being sent from the local devices, and the kind of training, whatever the weights that they have used, all the information alone is being shared. So with respect to parameters alone are being shared, and all other information with respect to data is safe. The next thing is you have an enhanced data access. So federated learning allows chatbots to benefit from the knowledge it contains. The diverse set of data knowledge is there because we don't have a centralized server. So data is available. It has been fetched from several cloud servers, and without compromising the data privacy, we are able to get an enhanced data access. So this is about what federated learning it does. So you find federated learning addresses challenges like patient privacy. It addresses challenges in connection with data fragmentation across hospitals, and also, as I said in the beginning, the acts like HIPAA Act is being preserved, and without any bias and fairness, you are able to get recommendations. And it uses low resource settings because since it is working in a distributed setup, always distributed setup uses low resource settings. So this is about the highlight of it. So here in the screen, you find data has been collected from different geographical locations like hospital 1, 2, 3, etc. up to hospital ends. Multiple hospitals are providing data, and you find each and every hospital it is doing local computation. And as I said in the beginning, only the network parameters are being passed to the aggregation machine. And you find in the data aggregation, all these local computation that has been done, it has been taken, and a global model is accumulating all the data that has been collected from the local machines. So in a distributed setup, we do experience it, and we find this federated learning is being importantly used in all the chatbots nowadays. And now the next question is where this federated learning fails, or else why we need to go for hybrid models. As we all know very well, now all the research papers, whatever we find in the net or whatever we come across, we always claim that we go for hybrid model. There are several researchers who claim their algorithm as hybrid algorithm, or there are several researchers who say they claim it as a novel algorithm. When you say what is the novelty behind it, they will say this algorithm is lacking this, and I want to add this along with this so that it becomes complete in all aspects. So we find in all these cases, federated learning has several positive points, but on the other side, it falls short in the robustness. What is the fall short, or else what is the shortcoming that we face? So the biggest challenge what we face is with respect to data heterogeneity, because in the earlier slide we have seen different hospitals are generating data. So local data has been collected with different hardware configurations, or else with from different machines it is being collected. So data heterogeneity is the biggest challenge. So medical data across hospitals are existing, but it is existing in different formats. Or we can say in the other way that it is available, some of them are structured, some are semi-structured, some are unstructured. So you have such a huge volume of data which is available. So data heterogeneity is one issue which is to be addressed. And on the other side, we also find there exists system heterogeneity. What is heterogeneity is? System heterogeneity is the different types of scanning, what you have, the different types of machineries, what you use in your hospitals. It does differently. So this is about system heterogeneity issue. And the other issue is the vulnerability issue, security vulnerability issues. So federated learning can be attacked by way of model poisoning. What is model poisoning is there can be a malicious client who can inject incorrect updates. Like since you pass all the parameters, you may face with such model poisoning also. This is one which is to be addressed. The next thing is with respect to federated learning, we face with an issue of limited participation. Like I said in the beginning, when we have a look at all the healthcare chatbot challenges, the one which is to be addressed is the diversity of data. So with limited participation, you cannot achieve robustness. So hospitals may opt out of training due to computational constraints or bandwidth issues may be there. So this is one which is to be addressed. And the next thing is about the label and annotation quality issue. Like medical labels can vary in accuracy. Like you may find there may be several parameters which also go with accuracy, like slight, medium, hard, high, etc. So you have different types of accuracy levels, and that is one which is to be taken care. And the next thing is about the communication overhead issue. Like federated learning requires frequent communication between the client and the server. Though in a distributed model, we don't have client server, but still you find you need to check with the cloud server for data to be fetched. So all these issues are to be addressed. So there exists a communication overhead issue which is to be addressed. So federated learning falls short in these ways. So this is about the challenges that we face with federated learning. So all the FL models, it face issues with respect to privacy and security, data heterogeneity, and there exists an imbalanced data, and you have a model aggregation which is also generating something, and you also lack with standardization. Like different machines have different standards. Like let us assume if you're going to insist your students to do some NPTEL course, there are several ways of assessing the NPTEL score that is being secured. Like student might have attended a 3 weeks program, some students might have attended a 4 weeks program, and the scoring cannot be standardized or it cannot be normalized. So similarly, with respect to healthcare industry, also we find different machineries have different way of doing it. Like if you are going to check a financial health status of an individual, like we all know very well, we have CIBIL, which is being taken into consideration when any loan is being given to any individual. So CIBIL score, whatever you have, will tell you the hygienic level of your financial status. So there we find there are several softwares which are doing that. There are some softwares which neglect if you are not paying your bills properly. Let us assume if I fail to pay my bill for one day, there is there exists a software which will have a less penalty on me. So there are some softwares which will pay penalty on me even if I miss one day. So likewise, you have different way of scoring. So lack of standardization is an important issue which we face. Now, as I said in the beginning, we also have transfer learning, which is also into picture, which is also providing some sort of technical inputs to all these healthcare chatbots. So what we can do is we can think of having federated learning and transfer learning together. So if we provide a synergy between these two learning techniques, like federated learning and transfer learning, when it is combined, we find it can be used more effectively, or else we can say it can be a powerful tool. So personalized recommendations, highly personalized recommendations can be given if federated learning and transfer learning are combined. So as if you are planning to do any research with respect to healthcare data, you can plan in synergy between federated learning and transfer learning, where you find since it has been having hand in hand synergy, you are able to give a personalized recommendation. Like as I said in the beginning, it can be a recommendation which can be given without any bias. The next thing is you can achieve much higher user experience. So improved user experience can also be visualized with respect to providing a synergy between these two learning techniques. And now I want you to change your dimension, like having federated learning in one side with adversarial training, what sort of improvements you can make. Like as I said in the earlier slide, federated learning can go hand in hand with transfer learning also. So similarly, I have when I searched all the internet resources, I could find federated learning is being combined with adversarial learning. As the name itself says, adversarial learning will have an adversary who will try to poison the data. So, adversarial learning is a machine learning model where the models are trained to perform well when faced with inputs designed to trick or confuse them. So, here we find there are several inputs which will confuse the chatbots. So what we can think of is, like, we can think of combining this federated learning with adversarial training. So this adversarial training model, it involves two levels. One is generator or the adversary, where the generator or the adversary will try to create input that fools the main model. So you will be fooled with some information. And on the other side, you have a discriminator who can correctly classify or identify that it is an adversarial input. So with such a training, we can also fine tune the model. So what we can think of is, we can think of incorporating adversarial training along with the federated learning, or you can think of like adversarial training along with transfer learning. So these are some of the combinations which researchers can experience. And when we are having a look at adversarial training, at present, we find with the state of art research that is being showcased in the resources, I come to know that it can contribute towards attackers. That is, security against attacks can be, to some extent, can be solved using adversarial training. So adversarial training makes chatbots more robust against adversarial attacks. So here we find, though we provide with some incorrect data, still the predictions can be made and it can be done. So this is about the security which can be against the attacks. And on the other side, data poisoning and model inversion. So the adversarial training can contribute towards data poisoning. So the adversarial attacks can include data poisoning, where the malicious data is introduced into the training set to degrade the model performance. So when this malicious data has been introduced, we find the training will become difficult. So here we find adversarial training can contribute. So with adversarial training, you can make sure that the attackers are not allowed to influence more. So this is about the power of adversarial training. And we also find we will be able to build a resilient model. So adversarial training involves exposing the model to be carefully crafted with adversarial examples. So since adversarial examples are given as input in the earlier stage, training can be made, or we can withstand with such attacks. So you can claim your model as a resilient model, because since you are incorporating adversarial training. So this is how adversarial attacks are made. So in the training data, you will be injecting with the new data, which is an adversarial data, and you can train your model to accept all the changes or to accept such errors, and you can make the model to work effectively. So the power of all these models, it lies in accepting such vibrant changes. So now this adversarial model can also be incorporated. How this adversarial model is going to work? Like, you find the inputs are being given and the training data is being poisoned, and your adversarial model is going to help you in identifying all the adversarial inputs, and then you are able to train your ML model or your deep learning model to find which is an adversarial input and what you can do with it. So now, as I said in the beginning, all the chatbots, whatever is available, it faces with the robustness issue. So robustness is the one which is to be addressed, which federated learning fails. Maybe if we think of having a combinational model of federated learning along with adversarial training, if you can work, then you may find you may be able to address all these challenges with respect to robustness. That is, a bias detection and mitigation can be made, or fairness aware training can also be done. What is fairness aware training is, you will be able to help your machine to understand that it is an adversarial input. So that is termed as fairness aware training. The next thing is, you can also have a cultural adaptive model. Like, culturally adaptive model means those whose age are above 80, they are having regular food practices which are disciplined, etc. For them, you can give some culturally adaptive recommendations. And these are some of the things which can be addressed with the help of adversarial training. So, the defenses what we get with the help of adversarial training is adversarial training trains the model on adversarial examples. So, they apply transformations to reduce the adversarial noise. So, then we are able to find an architecture which can be claimed as a robust architecture. Or we can say robustness can be infused in model with the help of adversarial training. Or on the other side, I can say these models can claim them as less sensitive to perturbations. What does less sensitive to perturbation means? It means it can address with respect to adversarial input. So these are some of the things which we can focus. So as I said in the beginning, federated learning and adversarial training in healthcare chatbots can enhance the privacy and robustness of healthcare chatbots. So now people are concerned about the privacy of information. So wherever we go, we find people, they say, I want to work with a model where my data is kept private. Like even as a teacher, when we go and address students, we will give some examples. So when we are giving examples, we will never say that we will never mention that it happened in this particular college, in this particular batch, with respect to this particular student from so and so background. All these informations we will not reveal. So that is termed as privacy. So similarly, in healthcare chatbots also, we find these healthcare chatbots, it enhances the privacy and robustness. And federated learning allows training on distributed data set. So as I said in the beginning, federated learning, it is being done, or it is learning which is done on a distributed data. So federated learning can be done on a distributed basis, and your adversarial training is just a defense layer. So please understand, now we have a model which is having diverse data, or I can say which is having a distributed training, where training is done in different geographical parts of the country, different continents. Let us assume it is being done, and people from different continents, they provide with their own inputs, and all these things, all the parameters are learned on distributed data. And federated learning, as I said in the beginning, it works with distributed data without centralizing the sensitive patient data. So if you are planning to centralize the data, the biggest challenge is uh, like fetching the data and accessing the data, because now we live in a world, like I said, it is a era which is called a zettabyte era. So where information is flooding like anything. So when we are going to store all the information in a centralized basis, then it will become very difficult. Like in India, we have a Aadhaar card which is being popularly used. So this Aadhaar card, when the information is kept or stored in a centralized basis, what are the issues that we will face? All these things we all have experienced. So always when we are working with distributed data set, then you find, so this distributed thing will work. And with adversarial training, as I said in the beginning, it is going to help you as a defense layer. So all the attacks, all the malicious attacks which has been designed, it can be compromised with the help of adversarial training. So federated learning, when it goes along with adversarial training, you will be able to enhance, or you will be able to improve the robustness of the machine. So this is with respect to the robustness. So as we all know very well, robustness is nothing but which is an ability where you are able to ensure that you have an accurate data, you have a complete data, or you can say you have a consistent data. Like when we are talking about database, we always say ACID properties. Similarly, with respect to healthcare also, we need to have an accurate data, we need to have a complete data, because this is a biggest challenge which we face when we are working with healthcare data set. There are several research papers which tell that they impute some information has been missing, and we impute some information. Like if you have a look at all the healthcare data sets that are available, you always face that there may be a attribute which is missing is with respect to sex, like whether male or female or transgender, that information is missing. So when we are having such information which is missing, you need to think about imputing the information. So when we are trying to impute the information, you may end up with some adversarial inputs, or I can say data poisoning can be made. Like you may have a data which is pertaining to female gender. And let us assume that the imputation model which you have used might claim that it could be a case of a male. So what happened here? You impute some information, and that imputed information is resulting in a danger. So let us assume that you give some image of an individual where the facial image is given as input, and for assumption, let us make that certain portion is distorted. So what these imputation models will do, imputation model will will have a look at the neighboring locality. Like let us assume that if forehead information is missing, then what it will do, it will take the pattern of the neighboring area and it will fit the it will impute information saying that such a pattern may also there in this area also. For assumption, let us make there is a mole in his forehead or there exists a scar in the image. In such a case, the scar or the mole is hidden, or I can say it is not complete in all aspects. So this is termed as robustness, or I can say this is claimed as a completeness of a data. So with respect to healthcare data, when we are working with healthcare data, completeness matters. Otherwise, what will happen? You will mislead or you will misguide the patient. If you are going to mislead or misguide the patient, then trust comes into picture. So you will lack trust on your system, people will lack trust on your system, and that is another important thing which is to be noticed. So completeness is all required data with respect to all columns, whether the color, the cultural diversity, or the language what they speak, all things should be given. If some critical information is missing, and let us assume if some statistical model or imputational models are used to fill the data, you may end up with some danger. So this is about the completeness what we have. The next thing is consistency. So consistency is an important challenge which we will be facing with respect to nowadays. Like all these models, all the models, whatever we have seen, all these models, as I said in the beginning, are driven by the data. And these data are continuous data in many cases. Why we say these are continuous data is like you may have a smartwatch which is providing continuous data about your heartbeat. You may have a smartwatch which will give a continuous information about you are lying in the bed, or the smartwatch may collect information saying that you are
तो
jogging.
मम्मी जोड़ बैसे मेरा आखो दिवस तो मम्मी जोड़ रह जावे दीदी आई
All these informations are termed as inconsistent informations. Like if you are going to give some change in information, then you say the data is not consistent. So the data remains uniform across systems and over time. If data can remain uniform across time and systems, then you can say that system as a consistent system. So, with respect to patient data, we may find consistency and completeness are going to play a major role. So various technological things may change, or you may find there is a technology update, but still with respect to data completeness and consistency, you cannot compromise. So this is termed as robustness in healthcare industry. The next thing is when we combine these two things, the data is going to stay locally and no raw medical data has been shared. So the data is not shared and you maintain confidentiality across institutions. So something like only the confidential informations across institution is preserved and you are able to give the interpretation. The patterns you are able to learn and you are not aware of whose data it is. The next thing is about no centralized data store. So if you are going to have a centralized data store, then security breaches will come. So lower breach risk is there because there is no centralized data store. Data is available everywhere, like it is available in the cloud. Several storage area networks are providing with data. So we find if you are going to have a centralized data store, then this security breach risk has been eliminated. The next thing is about it supports secure aggregation protocols. So it ensures that the updates cannot be leaked or the sensitive information is not leaked. When you are going to leak the sensitive information, then you will face the issue. So when you are going to combine federated learning and adversarial training, you will be enjoying privacy and robustness. You will be enjoying with data staying locally in your own machine. There is no centralized storage, and you also ensure that secure aggregation protocol is being supported. The next thing is chatbot is trained to handle malicious or misleading user queries. You can also train your chatbots with misleading queries. Like you can give some contradictory queries. Like you can give some queries which are not imaginable also. With that also you will find if you're going to combine these two algorithms like federated learning along with adversarial training, if you're going to combine, you will find you can also handle with such malicious misleading queries, or else I can say there will not be any uncertainty which you may face. The next thing is that it trains model to be robust against poison inputs, or I can say it increases the resilience against both internal and external threat. So as we all know very well, data poisoning is a biggest challenge which is to be addressed, and such data poisoning challenges can be eliminated if these two things can be combined. I am just proposing that federated learning can be combined with adversarial training, where you can escape from all these issues. So, if you are going to combine these two things, you can claim your model as a trustworthy model. So, these are some of the parameters with which we wanted to claim that when we combine federated learning and adversarial training, we can enjoy all these benefits. So, if you have a look at the first parameter with respect to privacy, federated learning, as we all know very well, data is available in local machines, and the local hospitals, it has the data. It is not stored in a centralized area. So you are not going to provide the data. And with respect to adversarial training, it is not supporting any privacy, but it supports robustness. So you are able to trust the data. The combined thing is you are able to trust the data with respect to privacy. The next thing is with respect to the parameter of security, it reduces the security breach. So if you have a look at adversarial training, with adversarial training, we find you are able to defend against a poisoned input, or you are able to defend against the malicious input. So since you are adding adversarial training, as I said in the beginning, as a defense layer, you are able to maintain confidentiality, and also you are able to resist with data leakage. So it is something like uh, the one which is surrounding you, where you are able to enjoy a safer interaction. So that is what the benefit what we enjoy is, since it's something like an additional layer or a security layer which is on the top, you are able to enjoy a safer interaction. And with respect to robustness, since we are collecting information across various sources, you are able to rely on this. So robustness is reliable with respect to combining federated learning and adversarial training. And the next thing is with respect to ethical AI, inclusive data without sharing. You are not sharing the data, you are just providing a fair and transparent way of accessing the information. You are just finding what is the nuances behind it. So explainable AI will say, with such a such background, a patient was given a recommendation like this. Like that, explainable AI will give. The next thing is the user trust. Like several regulatory bodies are there in different continents. Like with respect to Asian continent, we have a regulatory thing, and everywhere there are several regulatory compliances across the globe. User trust is being maintained with higher confidence level when these two techniques are combined, federated learning and adversarial training. If combined, we were able to achieve a higher confidence. Next thing is, now, since many faculty members are attending this session, I want researchers or faculty members to focus more on these areas, because now healthcare industry is open for all these challenges, and whatever deep learning models or whatever models that you give, it has to address all these challenges. And if you have a look at the challenges what we face with respect to adversarial learning or adversarial training, the biggest challenge what we face is the training time. Like I have seen several adversarial training models which are running for several hours for training. So this is an important thing which is to be addressed, because if you are going to make your machine to run for several hours, now the biggest challenge is the power is the biggest challenge. Like we have a issue of having different area where there are power issues are there, like more electricity is being consumed, so you cannot keep your machine to run for several hours, which is going to use resource intensively. Resources, it means your GPU resource, your power, etc. All these things it may use. So this is a challenge which is there in adversarial learning. And similarly, adversarial learning also has an issue with respect to interpretability. An interpretability issue is there. Like there are several cases, if you are going to take adversarial learning alone into chatbots, you may find several interpretability issues are there with respect to languages. Like even in India also we find several language issues are there. Let us assume you are in southern part of India, where in Tamil Nadu we have an issue with respect to language. Like there are some area where people speak Tamil differently. People in different geographical location, they speak different Tamil. Like in Tamil Nadu we find there is Chennai Tamil, there exists Kanyakumari Tamil. Even in Sri Lanka we have a different version of Tamil speaking people. So we find this interpretability issue is a biggest challenge which is faced in adversarial learning, which can be eliminated when federated learning and adversarial training is going hand in hand. Since these two models are going hand in hand, federated learning will work with models in different geographical locations. Like as we have seen in the outline, we find different hospitals are there. Different hospitals, it has different type of learning inputs. So since it is working with different types of inputs, this interpretability issue to some extent can be solved when we are combining federated learning and adversarial training. The next thing is with respect to combination of federated learning and adversarial training, we are able to ensure a clean data, or I can say we are able to assess with the help of clean data. So when we are going to assess information with clean data, or we can say with complete data, definitely we will be able to have a robust output. Robustness can be achieved. So researchers can focus on how to balance between privacy, robustness, and accuracy. Because if you are going to employ adversarial federated training, you have to think of having a balance between all these things. Because in one point, you cannot say privacy is my concern, where robustness and accuracy can be avoided to some extent, or I can say I can have a compromise in robustness and accuracy. These things cannot be accepted, because since it is a medical data, or since you are dealing with human life, you have to be think you should think properly, or you need to make a balance between this. So how to balance between privacy, robustness, and accuracy is an important challenge which is to be focused, or which is to be addressed. If you are a researcher if you are working into healthcare domain, you can think about having such a balance, not with respect to data alone, with respect to privacy, robustness, and accuracy. The next thing is we have to find ways to detect and mitigate poison data or malicious clients in federated setting. So always, if you are going to create a chatbot, you will always find there are several poison data which is also decreasing your chatbot's performance. So you need to find who are the sources which are providing such poison data, and why they are doing it, what is the intention behind it. So all these things you need to find. The next thing is learning in more communication and computation efficient in resource constrained healthcare setups. You need to take or you need to train with such a resource constrained healthcare setups. So if you can find such a resource constrained healthcare setup, then it is well and good. Otherwise, you need to focus more on that. The next thing is, like as I said, interpret their responses to improve trust in sensitive healthcare contexts. So this I have already addressed. Interpretability is the one which is to be taken care, because since we are dealing with a multimodal input, like you may have a voice data, you may give some text data. So all these interpretability issues are biggest challenges with respect to healthcare chatbots, which we have to focus on. The next thing is the future dimension or the potential innovations, what we can think of with respect to healthcare chatbots. Like you can think of like using a self-supervised learning model in healthcare industry. What the self-supervised model can supplement is this can leverage massive amounts of unlabeled healthcare data. Like I told in the beginning that we are flooded with data, which are either labeled or unlabeled. So when we are working with such unlabeled data, how you can leverage with such massive volume of data. So these training can be achieved with self-supervised learning in healthcare. So people who are planning to work in healthcare chatbot research or with respect to healthcare domain, you can think of using a self-supervised learning model. And similarly, now we find this neural architectural search is also used for some specialized modeling, where you find it can automatically search for optimal architectures which are tailored for healthcare chatbots. Like you can personalize it, or on the other side, I can say you can combine a neural architectural search with constraints for lightweight models. Now we are talking about lightweight models. Earlier, we had models which are heavyweight. Now we are talking about lightweight models. When we are working with lightweight models, this neural architectural search will definitely supplement, or it will provide a solution for giving such lightweight models. The next thing is with respect to meta learning. All like alternatively, these terminologies are used in literatures. Either they use meta learning or they use few shot learning. So these are some of the learning which has been popularly used, where you have a model which is trained to quickly adapt to the changing situation, or which is trained to quickly adapt to few samples, or with minimal training samples, how you can achieve maximum effectiveness. That is why it is named as few shot learning. The name itself says with few shot of inputs, or I can say with minimal inputs, how it can do it. That is what meta learning combined with federated learning can do that. So when we are going to combine federated learning along with meta learning, you will be able to achieve it. So it could be used for healthcare, where you need an adaptive chatbots to detect rare diseases or new protocols. Like after COVID, every time people are saying uh, we are facing this for the first time. So when we are facing it for the first time, when a symptom is faced, or I can say when a crucial symptom is faced for the first time, how to adapt, how chatbots can adapt. Similarly, you can also think of something like one chatbot communicating with the other chatbot. So this, I have not come across any literature which supplements or which can focus on that. So you can also think of going for such a model where chatbots can communicate among themselves. So if you can think of like chatbots intercommunication, with that also you can achieve maximum accuracy, efficiency, robustness. All these things can also be achieved. And now this meta learning and few shot learning is also progressing now in the current research. So that also researchers can focus on. And similarly, graph neural network models for knowledge integration. So this, when we were talking about the challenges what we face with healthcare chatbots, there was one point where I am focusing. I said history of the patient is important. So if you are thinking about history of the patient, then this graph neural network will come into picture, where you are able to integrate all the knowledge. You are able to interconnect all the information. So interconnecting all these models will also supplement or also will also help us to think of in a multi-different dialogue or in a multi-turn dialogue with respect to healthcare. So using graph neural network models, you can incorporate the medical knowledge that you have extracted from patients. Like his forefathers were having such a symptom and his parents are having such a symptom. Though he is a small boy, he may also have such a symptom. All these things we can achieve with the help of integrating in a knowledge network. So GNNs can contribute in that way. And now this word quantum computing has been a fancy term which is being used. Now we say it is going to be a future computing edge technology. So you can also think of like having quantum inspired deep learning, like combining quantum computing along with deep learning. Now, several quantum inspired deep learning models can also be taught. Like, it is an emerging model, you can think of like having quantum computing inspired deep learning models. So, all the tensor networks, it can be used for such practices. So, the potential for efficient representation and processing of complex healthcare data can be solved or can be achieved with the help of quantum inspired deep learning model, which is as I said, which is an upcoming model which you will find in near future will occupy the entire healthcare industry. So quantum inspired deep learning is one which you can think of focusing into it. The next thing is, we also find there are several continuous learning models which also supplement with privacy. So, as we all know very well, federated model is the one which is a continuous learning, which still has open challenges. Many challenges are there. When we are thinking about privacy, every now and then we talk about several challenges which are to be addressed. So you can think of like having a continuous learning model with privacy. Privacy alone a focus where you can continuously learn and you can think of like that. And similarly now, this is about the current need. Like we need to think about having energy-based models because in the background we find when we are raising a query in any chatbot or when we raise any query in the chat gpt, immediately you find several servers are disturbed and you require several machines which has to contribute to your own user query. So we need to think about having a model that learn an energy function to represent the data distribution. And also we have to think about something like having a robust generation model. So all these things can be achieved by having such a energy based models. So you can think about, if you are a researcher, you can think about having an ebms which can also supplement in healthcare chatbots. And this multi-agent reinforcement learning mar is another important thing which people can think of, like having a model which can have a multiple agent reinforcement learning. Like as I said, among chatbots, it can have a conversation. One chatbot can converse with the other chatbot, which is simply sitting. Or we can say one chatbot can take the help from a clinical physician, or one chatbot can take an input from a patient who has already experienced such thing. It is something like collaborative learning. So MARL is a multi-agent reinforcement learning model where you can think of something like having a model where multiple chatbots can be used and multiple physicians can be employed and patient inputs can also be taken. Altogether, you can think about having a reinforcement learning model. So this model is rarely used because it is not popularly practiced. That's what I said. One chatbot communicating with another chatbot is not there. Like something like when you raise a query, let us assume you are raising a query to Perplexity AI. Let us assume Perplexity AI is going to take the help from a chatbot, which is it is going to take support from ChatGPT. So such things are not existing. So you can think of like having a model, a multi-agent reinforcement learning model, which can combine one model interacting with the other model. Something like you raise a query to Perplexity or to DeepSeek. DeepSeek is going to take help from ChatGPT. Like that, if you can think of having such a multi-agent model, because with respect to healthcare chatbots, we need to think about having 24/7. And the other side, you need to give a flawless recommendation. So researchers who are planning to work on this area can think of like having an MARL model. So since the session is coming to an end, because I have to close the session by 7:30, I will now stick on with one thing. Like now all the IT industries, tech industries are saying, like TCS is saying, they wanted to go for reduction of the workforce. Like they say they need to think of like having a workforce reduction. If you have a look at the current scenario, like TCS is saying we are planning to reduce roughly around 12,000 employees. So with all these cases we find uh, the workforce reduction is, the claim they say is, since we are planning to think of having a AI driven automation, we want to reduce the workforce. So they say that AI reduction is making a layoff. That is what they are saying. On the other side, they also say they wanted people to be having a alignment, or they wanted people to think of like realignment towards upskilling. So all these things TCS is focusing on. The other side, if you have a look at another giant MNC, which is a tech MNC, Infosys is saying they are going to recruit 16,000 odd employees, or around 15,000 plus employees, for AI integration alone. See, please think, in one side, one MNC is saying they wanted to go for reduction of manpower. The other side, another MNC is saying they wanted to go for an increase in manpower. So you can think of like the real reason behind is realignment or upskilling is required. So as a student or as a teacher or as a researcher, we need to think of having a realignment, or we need to think of having an upskilling model. Like if you can upskill or if you can realign, then you can like achieve, or you can progress in your career to higher level. So please think of embracing AI. Don't say that AI is not my specialization. Now AI is something like a jam on a bread. So AI goes with all disciplines, irrespective of any discipline, whether it is a language or it is science or it is engineering or technology, whatever may be the stream. But we find AI is going hand in hand with all the stream. So in the recent talk which I delivered for a diverse category of audience, where people from all disciplines were addressing, I said we have to think of like AI as a silent partner which is traveling along with us in our technical journey. So AI cannot be driven out. AI should be embraced. AI should go hand in hand. So please take AI as a solution provider. If you take AI as a solution provider, you have to think of like having complexity. But if you take AI as a tool, definitely you can reach greater heights. So thanks a lot for listening very patiently, because I know the kind of difficulty what people will face, and that too attending a session after working hours. It's really difficult. Thanks a lot for listening very patiently. And since the session has come to an end, I will receive all your queries through email. So you can email all your queries to my email ID, and I'll be there to address it. You can mail me at ksjoseph.csc@pondi.uni.edu.in, or else you can email me at ksjoseph.csc@gmail.com. So this is about my email ID. You can email me. I'll be happy to address all your queries through email.
ஒன்ஸ் வெளியே போயிட்டு உள்ள வந்து அந்த chat history வர மாட்டேங்குது.
Thanks a lot for the opportunity. Thank you once again.
It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to express my heartfelt thanks on behalf of Mahindra College of Engineering to our esteemed resource person, Dr. K. Suresh Joseph, sir, for gracing us with your presence today. Sir, your inspiring words have not only added immense value of this event, but also left a lasting impression on all of us gathered here. We are deeply grateful for the time you took out of your busy schedule to be with us and to share your valuable insights and experience. Your presence here has truly elevated this occasion, and your words have enlightened, encouraged, and motivated us. We thank you for your graciousness, your wisdom, and your support. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Now, we kindly request all participants to take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form. Your responses and suggestions are valuable to us, and they will help us improve and organize even better programs in the future. We would be grateful if you could share your feedback with us at the earliest. I repeat, now we kindly request all participants to take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form. Your responses and suggestions are valuable to us, and they will help us improve and organize even better programs in the future. We would be grateful if you could share your feedback form with us at the earliest. I repeat, now kindly request all participants to take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form. Your responses and suggestions are valuable to us, and they will help us improve and organize even better programs in the future. We would be grateful if you could share your feedback form with us at the earliest. Now, to introduce our esteemed resource person, I invite Mrs. S. Indumati ma'am from Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science and coordinator of AICTE sponsored Atal 6-day online faculty development program.
Good evening, everyone. It's a moment of great pride and privilege to welcome a visionary leader, a passion mentor, and a youth icon in the world of education technology, Mr. Jayasuriya Gnanavel, the founder and CEO of Cybernaut EduTech, a graduate in information technology from SRM University, Ramapuram. Mr. Jayasuriya's journey is nothing short of inspiring. At a very young age, he founded Cybernaut EduTech, a powerful startup focused on transforming educational institutions through AI-driven SaaS solutions, automation, and career-focused tools. Under his leadership, Cybernaut has developed platforms like Cybernaut Campus, Chat App, Placement Tracker, and AI-enabled learning management systems, all aimed at enhancing student skills and campus performance. But his impact goes far beyond software. Mr. Jayasuriya has personally delivered over 100 speeches, mentored more than 45,000 students, and conducted 60 plus industrial training sessions across top institutions like SRM, SSN, Savita, KPR, Pavai, and Mahendra, and more empowering students with real world tech skills and career clarity. He was awarded the prestigious title of Young Entrepreneur of 2022 by SRM University and has been invited as chief guest and speaker at several national level conferences, FDPs, and hackathons, inspiring both educators and students. His leadership even guided a student team from Vivekananda College of Engineering for Women to victory in Smart India Hackathon 2024, a testament of his hands-on mentorship and futuristic approach. A true blend of tech expertise, leadership, and youth empowerment. Mr. Jayasuriya Gnanavel is the kind of change maker the next generation needs. Please join me in giving a warm and thunderous round of applause to our chief guest, Mr. Jayasuriya Gnanavel. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the introduction, ma'am. Now we hand over the session to Jayasuriya Gnanavel, sir.
Thank you so much for the warm welcoming. Okay, so yeah, good evening all. I'm Jai Surya from Cybernaut EduTech company, Karu. So before, let me share my screen now. Okay, first of all, I'm really happy to be here with you all today. So I know every sessions are not every evening sessions are not always easy. Energy levels are usually low. Some of you might already be thinking about dinner, right? But don't worry. I promise you today topic is not boring or not technical one. In fact, it's something that connects every closely with our lives. It's about our health, survival, and future. Okay, let me start with a simple question. When I say the word pandemic, what's what comes to you in your mind? Post in chat box. Post in chat box. What's coming in your mind actually? Any answers? Okay, so some of you are saying like COVID, lockdown, mask, Zoom calls, and sanitizers, fear. You are absolutely right. We live, we all lived through one of the toughest times in recent history. Some of us lost loved ones, some lost jobs, and all of us lost the normal way of our life for nearly 2 years. Suddenly, schools, colleges, and offices closed. Our entire work world stanked into a laptop screen. And the scariest part, we didn't know how long it could last. We didn't even know whether life could even return to normal or not. But but here is the part most people doesn't realize while we were at home adjusting to online classes, bingle watching Netflix or struggling with the slow Wi-Fi, something very important was happening behind the scenes. A silent warrior was working day and night to help governments, hospitals, doctors, and scientists fight the pandemic. That warrior is artificial intelligence, AI. Now, don't get scared when I say AI. I'm not here to throw complicated mathematics algorithms or coding at you. Instead, we are going to keep it very simple and connected to everyday life. In fact, I want to imagine AI as a helper or guide that supported us during COVID. And by end of the session, you will be able to say, uh, so AI was actually helping us in the background during COVID, and it can even save us in the next pandemic. Yes. So today's agenda will be, so how our journey will go today now. AI in every warning, like how AI tools noticed unusual health problems even before COVID spread widely, and how AI could guess where, where the diseases could go next. And the second part is AI in monitoring the viruses, like how AI helped to track how the virus was changing over time, and how AI predicted the number of cases and hospital needs. And the third one is AI has a global immune system. Like we will see how AI connect data from across the world, almost like creating a global immune system for humanity. And the fourth one is like AI in hospital and healthcare, like how AI helped in managing hospital beds, ventilators, and oxygen during the crisis. How AI helped in planning stations drives, deciding which area or group should be get vaccinized first. And the fifth one, AI models in action, how AI models detect and predict outbreaks, and how they also predict privacy, because many people worry AI is spying on us. We are clear that to that myth today. We will clear that myth today actually. So AI is supporting doctors and health workers. So after that, we will see how AI helped the labs, doctors, and nurse directly from scanning X-rays to reduce workload. The bigger picture beyond pandemics is finally we will conclude by looking at how AI can help us in future health challenges, and not just pandemics, but also in areas like cancer research, heart disease, and public health. So yeah, this is not going to be a boring lecture, and think of it like a story, the story of how AI become a hidden hero during one of the darkest times in our lives, and uh, how it can be our shield for the future as well. Let's start with some basic things, and yeah, after COVID arrived, everyone was talking about friends and families about staying safe. But let me tell you about an app, a simple app that many people in England and Wales downloaded on their phones. It's called the NHS COVID-19 app. When they first released the NHS app, lots of people were doubted. Some though, isn't this just another boring government app? Will it really help, or just use up use up mobile storage? Some just ignore it. But do you know what actually happened? This app becomes like a digital safety friend. Every time you wanted to keep step out, maybe visit a restaurant, shop for groceries, or hang out with the friends at a mall, you could just scan a QR code at the entrance using the app. Simple. The app quickly kept track not of where you went or your personal data, but of risky encounters. If you after you left, somebody who visited that same place tested positive for COVID, you will get a quick notifications. Hey, you might have been exposed. Take care. Like that, notifications will be given. And if you were in a close contact with someone positive, even for just a few minutes, not only the old 15 minutes rule, the app could alert you, guide you, and what to do next. So yeah, let me share that NHS app now. So this is the app I previously explained, the NHS app. It's currently available in Play Store, so have a look on it. And you could even check your own symptoms in the app. If you if you are feeling unwell, the app help you book a COVID test. Then and that then and there. And if you needed to isolate, if it gave a countdown for your isolation days with the reminders to help you not feel lost or alone. Now let's stop for a second and actually feel the impact of this. By May 21, 2021, this app has been downloaded by over 21 million people. That's more than half of the smartphone users in the inland and Wales. It sent over 1.7 billion a million alerts to warn people about exploiters, and according to studies, it helped to prevent nearly 6 lakhs COVID infections and in its first year. Even the most careful stimulate said at least for 4 lakhs 50,000 cases avoided, 44,000 hospitalizations avoided, and 10,000 lives saved. Think about that. These are not just numbers. Every alerts, every life saved. But don't think it was perfect. Sometimes they were small mistakes. Like at one time, the app was tracking contacts for 5 days instead of 2. But even when these things happened, the AI behind the app learned and adopted engineers to fix the things, improved accuracy, and the whole system keep getting smarter. The real magic is, unlike old school systems, this app used artificial intelligence to decide exposure, a risk, not just using some strict rules, but by looking at how infectious the other person might be. Sometimes 3 minutes of contact at the wrong time could be more risky than 15 minutes. So next time someone says AI is just robots, not complicated codes, remember, for lakhs of people in England and Wales, AI was a people's companion, quickly helping people stay safe, making hospitals a little less crowded, and giving families a fighting chance to avoid the worst. And the next one is yes. So yeah, the next thing is now just think of an AI that acts as a global health detective that never eats, never sleeps, never takes a holiday. It's a job to read everything, news articles, blogs, tweets, even random PDFs in dumps of languages. Not then swiper to the WHO. Hey, something strange is happening here. What is this, Techna? That's exactly what EIOS has been doing, because between 2018 and 2023, it picked up almost half of major health events in Africa before governments even announced them. In some regions, its yearly detection rate was more than 50%. Imagine knowing about a fire before the smoke alarm rings. That's the kind of yearly ages give AI gives us. So the EOSW is yeah, here's the thing. Yeah, this is the thing is that during the yeah, imagine knowing about the fire. Okay, before the higher smoke alarm rings, that's the kind of yearly ages AI gives us. But if you EIOS is the detective, then health map is the map maker. Yes. During the Ebola outbreak in West Africa in 2014, Health Map spotted signs a whole week before the WHO formally acknowledged it. And in December 2019, it noticed Philomenia custis in Hogan before most of us had even heard the word coronavirus. At one time, Health Map was processing 10,000 news articles into a public timelines of Ebola, governments, journalists, even common citizens could literally watch the outbreak unfold in real time. So now detection is one thing, but predicting the future, that's another level, right? So not this where Blue Dot, a Canadian AI startup, comes in. Instead of just tracking diseases reports, Blue Dot combines them with airline travel patterns, and then they runs powerful models to forecast where the diseases will affect next. On December 31, 2019, Blue Dot quickly warned about COVID 6 days before the WHO made its first public statement. It correctly predicted the virus board could jump from Wuhan to Bangkok, Silo, uh, Taipei, and happened. So while doctors in labs were confirming virus under microscopes, AI systems like EIOS, Health Map, and Blue Dot were working as a global radar spotting storms across the nations. Now if you had just a few days early warning before COVID hit your city, couldn't that have made a difference? That's the power of AI as an early warning system. And yeah, but of course the story doesn't stop here, because once a uh, various virus spreads, it doesn't stay the same. It mutates. It's called next trend. Next trend. So now think of it like Google Maps, but not for not for streets or traffic. This is a live make for viruses. Here's how it works. Scientists across the world upload what are basically the virus and DNA fingerprints, and the next train takes those and builds a kind of a family tree, showing how new variants like Alpha, Delta, Omicron, and uh, are born, spread, and eventually take over. During COVID, while most of us were just asking where are cases suddenly exploding again, next train had already shown that Delta was racing across countries weeks before the news headlines or catch up. This tool had already given vaccine makers and governments a head start. So, and here's the beauty of it. It's a open source. So a researcher in India, a lab in Brazil, and a policymakers in Europe, they were all looking at the same real-time virus map. It's like turning on your heading lights while driving at night. The road is still curvy, but at least you can see what's happening, what's coming. But then comes the real human question. All right, we know the virus is spreading, but what does it actually mean for us? Will hospitals overflow? Should schools close? Do you really need another lockdown? That's where something, yeah, that's where something called uh, forecast hubs comes into play. Think of them as weather forecasting, but for pandemics. In the US, for example, the COVID forecasting hub pulled together predictions from the more than 100 different terms, universities, data scientists, even private companies. It blinded them into a single reliable forecast. And guess what? Studies later showed these forecasters were among the most accurate and predicting the deaths even weeks in advance. In the UK, similar models used NHS call data and even Google search trends, like people searching for loss of or smell it, to guide decisions during the Omicron wave. Yeah. So In Spain, one scientist, Nuria Oliver, did something remarkable by combining anonymous mobile data with the local surveys. Her team could predict ICU urges in Valsinia with day level accuracy. That means hospitals had time to prepare and they never collapsed under pressure. Her work was so impactful, it even won an X Prize. And the startups weren't far behind either. One of them, called Fluidomix, zoomed into the neighborhood level. Imagine this, a model that could predict local COVID hotspots with 92% accuracy. That means oxygen, ambulance, and medicines could be sent exactly what they were needed before the crisis hit. So what you pull this all together, next train mapping how the viruses mutates and spreads, forecasting hubs predicting the bigger picture, and the startups like Frodomatic zooming into the street level, you see something incredible. For the first time in history, humanity wasn't completely blind in a pandemic. We had in a way built a global immune system powered by data and AI. All right, we have seen how AI acts as a global detective, spotting outbreaks from space. We have also seen how AI predicts the virus next level. So, yeah. Okay. But now let's think of a real scenario during COVID. Let's go into the hospital at the height of COVID wave. Let's imagine we are the directors of a hospital. It's 6 a.m. We haven't slept, and our minds are running with the millions of questions. How many sick people will walk through our doors today? Will we have enough ICU beds tomorrow? What about next week? Will we have enough ventilators when dozens serves of cases come in at once? Before doctor has to guess how many beds could be needed, but during COVID, something changed. Hospitals had a new like. Let's consider Mayo Clinic, uh, which uses AI like a daily weather report for patients. Their models didn't guess; they calculated. They combined and paused patient data with the live virus trends and could forecast tomorrow's admissions, next week's ICU needs, and next month's ventilator demands. This wasn't just data. This was a gift of time to call in extra stuff, time to set up more beds, time to breathe before the storm hits. And finally, let's talk about the greatest mission, the vaccines. Yeah. Mm, when those first deaths arrived, the question wasn't just who's get it, but where does it saves the most lives? In India, AI models analyzed infection trends, how tens tons of population were, and how people were moving. Then they suggested which district should get the vaccines first. This strategy thinking prevented thousands of infections before they could even happen. So AI also protected the vaccines. It planned the best delivery routes. It constantly monitored the temperature of skipping trucks because one warm truck could ruin thousands of life saving deaths. It made sure these previous resources weren't wasted. So what was the AI in all of this? It was the backbone that helped the hospitals, leaders, and communities stand.
முதலேசமோ அப்படி சொன்னா படிச்சிட்டியா?
And together.
தம்பி தான்டா வச்சிருக்கோம் பென்சில. இப்ப எதுக்குடா பென்சில் கேக்குற? எதுக்கு எழுதணும்? ஃபைவ் டேபிள்ல எழுத வேணாம்டா, மிஸ் பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க. எதுவுமே நீ பார்க்க மாட்டாங்க. நீ படிச்சுட்டு சொல்லணுமா? சொல்லு.
I don't know actually. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I before said it was the backbone that helped hospitals, leaders, and communities stand stronger, respond smarter, and fight back the COVID. Okay. So when most people hear K in public health, their brain immediately shuts down. They think algorithms, math, coding. Nope, not my thing. But let's flip into our own. Imagine we are not talking about models and data sets. We are building a house. Every house starts with the foundation, walls, plumbing and wiring, and finally the family that lives inside. Pandemic AI works that exactly same way. The foundation data, this is our concrete slab. Without it, forget about the architecture. What does it into the slab? The bricks. The first brick, cases and hospitalizations. Those daily numbers for hospitals that helps countries like the UK see what's happening before the yachts flipped up. Next brick, mobility data. The data sometimes predicted outbreaks 2 weeks before ICU's needs. Then comes the wearables, which give early warning signals like, hey, heart rates are up, sleep patterns are off, something is coming. Last but not the final brick, EHRS, a patient record that which helps in predicting oxygen and ventilator needs. So now we are got a foundation. Let's move on to the building the walls. The walls are the models. So now if the foundation is in place, time to put up walls, but we don't use the same wall for every rooms, do we? For every warning, we use models like smoke detectors, which detecting something weird in this happening. That's how a small startup spotted Ebola in West Africa before the WHO even made an announcement. For forecasting, think weather reports. You couldn't cancel your picnic because one person guessed it might rain. You look at an ensemble forecast. That's exactly how we combine AI models for pandemic predictions. Layered like your favorite playlist. And here's the best part, federated learning. Imagine a circle of hospitals or learning together, all getting smarter, but nobody shows their raw patients files. It's like passing notes in classes without the teaching catching you. Privacy prevented, insights shared. And next comes the plumbing wiring operations. Every house needs it, even if nobody talks about the pipes. So the dashboard, they are not just plots or a map, but even forecasting a real-time variant trackers, a prediction of which hospitals will be full next week. One screen, everything you need to know, but who has who has the time to just watching a screen all day, right? So we set up alerts, smart ones. You want your phone to buff with a image that actually matters, like ICU beds in Ahmedabad are projected to hit capacity in 10 days. You might want to move resources or open the temporary yards. Now models aren't set it and forget it. If we don't maintain them, they go stable, they go stale, fast, like milk left out in the sun. That's where the maintenance crew comes in. What we call them as ML operates. So they keep the AI learning, adapting, and stay accurate as new data comes in. No outdated predictions here. So the next thing is, and yeah, finally, governments locks, keys, logs, who saw what, when, and why. We are dealing with the help people's health data, their trust. They can be no black box, no oops, where did that data go? You need clarity, control, and total accountability, because if people don't trust the system, they won't use it. And if they won't use it, well, the whole high tech house of cards just falls down. So it's not just tech, it's tech with rules, tech with responsibility, tech that stays useful and worthful. Yes. And finally, the families, people. A house is just empty walls without a family living inside, right? So who is in the family? Analysts who look at the signals and decide which ones matter. Data engineers who clean up the messy data so the data doesn't choke up on it. Clinicians, the doctors and nurses who check whether the predictions make sense in the real world. And ethics and policymakers who makes sure we use AI responsible in public healthcare. Trust is everything, right? So every week, when we step back, our pandemic AI houses looks like this. The foundation is data, the walls are models, the plumbing and wires are operations, the family inside is the ones who really bring it to life, or people. And here's the key point. AI itself isn't the hero of the story. AI is just a house. So the real heroes are the people inside it. The the health teams, the doctors, the nurses, the communities, they are ones who save lives. AI just makes sure the lights turn on, the plumbing works, and the roof doesn't leak. But here's the past moment. Just because AI can do all this, should it? No. This isn't just about technology, it's about people's life, community, and trust. That's why, alongside the tech, we all always needed three things: ethics, privacy, and governance. First, ethics. So imagine if our AI predicts a certain neighborhood will have a COVID strike next week, and that gets shared carelessly. Suddenly, that neighborhood is seen as dangerous. Shops suffer. People feel ashamed, and families are isolated. So ethical AI is about three simple checks. Does it do good? Which means, does it save lives, help allocate resources, or does it avoid harm? Which means, like, doesn't does don't cause panic or false alarms. And is it fair? Every community must be treated equally, rich or poor, urban or rural. Spain actually lived this out. Their pandemic model flagged COVID hotspots with 92% accuracy, but the data wasn't used to polish everyone. It was used to send doctors, ventilators, and PPE where they were needed the most. This ethics in action. And the next one is privacy. So this is what makes most people nervous. AI uses health records, variables, even locations data. How do we use it without breaking trust? Four golden rules are here. One is collect only what's needed, anonymous wherever possible, keep it secure, lockdown and encrypted, be open and ask for constant. Yeah. Okay. Take India's vaccine drive. AI helped identify which districts needed vaccines the most, but they didn't. Without storing personal IDs on central servers, privacy was protected and lives were saved. Yeah. Finally, the governance. So think of a governance as the rule and guardianaries that keeps the system fair and trustworthy. That means every prediction should be traceable, who built the model, what data is used, and humans stay in charge. AI predicts, but people decide. Follow the law, not because it's red trap, but because it protects people. Keep checking the bias so resourceful don't accidentally uh, get scared together or one group. A great example is Next Time. It's open source, transparent, and scientists around the around the world can see exactly uh, how it works that builds trust. Now let's be real. Like it's not always easy. High um, privacy rules can make predictions weaker. Transparency takes time, but pandemics move faster. So model drift as the virus changes. That's why the answer isn't fixed rules, it's adaptive governance, constantly checking, updating, and making sure AI stays helpful for and fair. Because at the end of the day, AI is only as good as the principles behind it. Protecting privacy builds trust, and trust be trust means people share data. Data makes the AI smarter. That loop leads to better predictions and better outcomes. Okay, so far we have seen how AI can already help in pandemics, but let me ask you something. What about the next pandemics? So imagine it's 2030. A new virus shows up, spreads faster than COVID, maybe not as deadly. Do you think we will fight it in the same way we did back in 2020? Lockdowns, endless debates, waiting weeks for lab results. No, the future will look different because AI is already breaking into brand new territories. First, into the lab. Yeah, one of the biology toughest puzzles that always been protein. Proteins are like machines of life. Every virus, every cell, every part of us runs on them. If we know their shapes, you know their job. The problem before AI, figuring out protein shapes was like solving a 10,000 piece jigsaw in the dark. It used to take years. For some HIV proteins, it took decades, and in a pandemic, we barely have weeks. Then came AlphaFold. It can predict. It can predict actually protein structures from genetic code alone. In 2021, it cracked what scientists called a 50-year challenge in one leap. Before it, the world's protein database had about 180,000 entities. Today, Alphabet has predicted more than 200 million. That means essentially every protein we know of it. Why does it mean? Why does it matter actually? Take COVID, streak protein, mapping it used to take months. With the AlphaFold, it could understood in hours. That means vaccines could be designed faster, maybe months faster. And AlphaFold is just the start. New AI model stimulate drugs, even whole cells testing treatments virtually before a single lab experiment. That's faster, cheaper, and scalable. That's the lab of the future. Now let's step out of the lab into the field. Large language model. Yes, the cousins of ChatGPT. Do you something powerful in health? Imagine you are in a small town, public health officer. Suddenly an outbreak starts. Every day we might get 200 pages of lab reports, hospitals, notes, and international alerts. And how much can we really read? Not much, right? So now imagine an AI assistant scanning those 200 pages, picking out the right patterns, cases still rising in the districts, new symptoms reported over there, ICU cases climbing here. Suddenly, instead of drawing in paper, we are making faster, shaper decisions. These models can translate across languages, so a report can be instantly summarized and flagged for global attention. But should we trust them blindly? Definitely not. The World Health Organization said it clearly. These AI assistants are not like junior doctors. Smart, quickly, sometimes brilliant, but they still need supervision. Next, into the command center. So during COVID, everyone wants to know when will the curve flatten? Forecast become headlines news. Now AI is moving beyond simple forecast to scenario planning. Think of it as a flight simulator for pandemics. What if a new variant emerges? What if vaccines start? What if holiday travel pushes infections up? Scenarios hubs let policymakers test all these futures weeks or months in advance. In 2023, studies showed governments used them to plan resources allocations more effectively. But pandemics are only part of the story. Now, every threat makers breaking news, some creepy in quickly. Antimicrobial resistant, the silent pandemic, but by 2050, it could kill more people than cancer. But AI is already helping predicting drug transactions in days instead of years and spotting resistance patterns globally without exploring patient data. So climate change, rising heat, pushing mosquitoes into new territories, carrying malaria, dengue with AI weather models and drone scanning for breeding drones, outbreaks can be predicted and prevented before they spread. And mental health, the invisible crisis, anxiety, burnouts, depression, AI started to catch early warning signs in voice, sleep, even trying rhythms, people to get help sooner actually. This is what resilience looks like. Not just bracing for the next COVID, but preparing the silent threats too. And here is the truth: AI isn't the hero. People people are doctors, scientists, communities. AI is the partner. It shines the light, draws the map, helps us move faster, but humans choose the path. So the future of health, not AI is replacing people. It's human and the AI together, ready for pandemics, climate shocks, silent struggles, or anything else the world throws at us. And if we use it wisely, AI might just give us the edge of we need. So the next part of our session will be very interesting, actually. So it's completely full of hands-on. Okay. So basically, let's be honest. Let's talk about the general talks about AI. Okay, let's be honest. Today, the word AI has become the Maggie noodles everywhere you go. It's there. Scroll Insta, Astro AI predicts your love life. Open YouTube, thumbnails are AI generated. Even your cousin's wedding card AI designed. So, but who actually started this? So, the word AI was trended because yes, obviously OpenAI with ChatGPT. Then came Google Gemini, saying we are safer and more accurate. China dropped DeepSeek to show their power, and India. Well, half the apps are now predicting your future marriage dates. It's too funny now. This shows one thing: AI is not a trend; it's a race, and the smarter ones are using it to stay ahead. Let's talk about what companies do. Companies are very smart nowadays. They don't just sell tools, they sell fear, actually. Example, company A says, A,
எவ்வளோண்ணா கிலோ
A
எவ்வளோ
chatbot, A chatbots are dangerous. A chatbots are dangerous. They keep problem solves. Then the same company launches our safe chatbot. Another company, AI will take your job, then says, don't worry, our AI will only assist you. This is the trick called negative marketing. So don't fear AI, learn to use it. And let's talk about the types of AI. So we have three types of AI now currently. So one is ANI, second one is AGI, third one is ASI. AN is like it's only two repeated tasks and only one task at a time. For example, I hope if people are from 80s, 90s, you will surely play the game called GTA Vice City. So in that game, the active person can move whatever they want. Actions will be done from in the same city. Other people will do the same repeated task for a period of time. So behind the technology is AI. So AGI is artificial general intelligence. So basically, it's think and act like a humans. For example, currently we're using ChatGPT, right? You ask history code,
எவ்வளோண்ணா
tips, advice, it replies,
கிலோ
right?
50.
And the most danger one is coming soon, ASI, artificial super intelligence, smarter than humans. For example, I hope you guys watched a movie in Marvel, Avengers Age of Ultron. So Ultron basically he has his own ideology to create his own world. So basically, we are guys are entering into the darkest side of AI very, very, very soon. So right now, most of the tools we are using in AI and AGI. So Ultron is coming. So yeah, now let's talk about some tools that simplify your academical works. For example, for faculty or also for students also. Yes, let's start with the notebook LM. Google notebook LM. Just have a notes on that because you might will get lot of if affords, sorry, we'll get a lot of things in this platforms. Okay, notebook LM. So this is a Google product. So notebook LM is basically we can use it as our to actually to automate academics and for doubt clarifying sections. So basically create a new notebook. So upload whatever files you needed for Google Drive, Docs, slides, links, website, YouTube links, whatever files. So basically I'm uploading today's session, AI pandemics. So and I'm asking if I have anything in have some doubts in this particular things, I can ask AI. So what is this? What is that? So in such cases, I still now I didn't get the proper responses or what I need. Means we'll go with the audio overflow. So what basically it does means it basically creates the entire notes into a broadcast audio in for 9 or like 10 to 17 minutes. If we listen to the audio, we can get to the know about the particular topic fully with an audio with a clarity content. And yeah, the next one is Google AI Studio. Google AI Studio. So actually, this is it's create a chatbot. Students can ask what's time is in class, what is the project topic, but both use cases no need to answer hundreds of thousands of WhatsApp messages. We can automate everything in Google AI Studio, and most of them people using this as a problem solving for their coding rounds. Okay, so if I do anything something in program X, doing any Python program, if I done any errors on that, basically it works like a Google Meet. So you just screen share the entire thing. The AI can monitor all the actions what you guys are doing in the coding. If you have any stuck with any errors or whatever stuffs, you just talk with the AI or just type the queries in the prompt. It will give the exact solutions for your particular problems. And the next part is offer boost. So offer boost is basically is a AI powered interviewer. So basically, if we trying it now, so just log in and upload your resume, and AI will actually prepare a role based resume, role based questions for that particular role. So basically, you can use this product as a mock interview purpose for your students. And the next one is um yeah. The next one is the most dangerous person now in the world, Mr. Devin. He's a AI software developer. Consider if I'm hiring a two persons, I want to with a package of around 8 or of like 5 to 6 LPA, the person will get around 40 to 50,000 per month, right? So that particular person work for me around only for 9 to 5 job, and around he or she will work for only for 8 hours per day, right? So what if I say this is the AI software. This guy is if I pay only 40,000 per month, this guy going to work for me around 24 hours daily. So this is currently active now. Companies are using now. And the next person is Devika AI. This is an open source model. This is an open source model. So actually we can create a lot of LLMs, cool stuffs in with this Devika AI. This is also AI engineer. And the next part is the nowadays people are trending the word vibe coding, right? Imagine building a full stack web application just writing in English. Example, let's I will show some of the vibe coding platforms. Like first one will be a bold.new. Basically, what this particular application will do now, you just enter the prompt like what kind of products, what kind of projects you guys want to build now. You want any efficient front end code, this board will be very useful for you. Okay, so I'm just giving a built a at student attendance app, all necessary feature. So what basically happening is A is actually writing the code. So it comes under TypeScript and React. So it thinks what we guys are giving in the prompt, it document everything and done every entire code within within 5 to 10 minutes. So let's wait for some times. Actually, it writes the code. Before that, by doing this, parallelly, we go in entering into the Vessel Vivo. This is also a cool tool to deploy stuffs and in a simplest way. So this AI also the same way. Here also you can give the prompts what you want to build. So basically this AI helps to we are starting any startups or whatever it is. We have with uncleared ideas. We just throw the in words to this particular products as a prompt. This product will give you the proper prototype for our idea. So that's the basic things companies are using nowadays, like this only. And most of the students have started coding with vibe coding stuffs. This is one platform. And the next thing is create anything.com. So now this is the most powerful AI assistance. So this is basically depends upon the requirements given by the client or whatever steps. This particular product used only for some products only for front end, back end only, but create anything is completely work with front end, back end database, and given the accurate code basis for our customization works. So this is the anything website, and this is the most famous one, Lovable AI. This is also similar to Bolt, Vessel Vivo, anything, and also yeah, same like that. Yes, okay. So and nowadays, okay, see the actual review for this. The AI created a entire application within just 10 to 15 minutes actually. So people are using wisely in these platforms. Kindly be aware of this. And yeah, the next one is planned AI. Planned AI. So this is basically automates your telecalling supports. So let me show some hands-on with it. Let's sign up with this account. Just a minute. It's just for a second. Okay. So I just log into the Bland AI. So what is basically we can do with this now? You just go to send call and enter the prompt. This is the number I'm going to call now. So enter the prompt. This AI chat system will be work as a educational admission counselor. Yes. So after that, I'm going to send a call. So actually what's happening now? Okay. I got an international call from my phone. So I put in speaker.
Hello, thank you for calling. My name is an educational admission counselor, and I'll be happy to assist you with any questions or concerns you may have about the admission process. How can I help you today?
So what is the admission process for Stanford University for a MS-PG program?
Great question. The admission process for Stanford University's Master of Science in Product Management, or MSPG, program involves several key steps. First, you'll need to submit an online application, which includes your academic transcript, letters of recommendation, a statement of purpose, and your resume. You may also be required to submit standardized test scores, such as the GRE, although some programs may waive this requirement under certain conditions. Additionally, you might be invited for an interview as part of the selection process. Would you like more detailed information on any specific part of the application?
Yes. How many letter of recommendations needed for Stanford University?
Stanford University typically requires 2 to 3 letters of recommendation for admission to their graduate program, including the MSPG program. These letters should ideally come from individuals who can speak to your academic abilities, professional experience, and potential for success in the program. Would you like any guidance on how to ask these letters?
Okay. How many duration for this PG program? Years of duration.
The Master of Science in Product Management, or MSPG program at Stanford University is typically a 2-year full-time program. However, the exact duration can vary depending on your course load and any prior experience or credits you may have. Some students may complete it in as little as 18 months, while others may take up to
Thank you
3
so
years.
much. So yes, this is how the Bland AI works. So basically, you just give the call. Basically, most of the companies in abroad using this product for their sales call. So that nowadays colleges also from abroad are using this kind of activities. Yes. So these are the stuffs we seen today. So I will give you the proper notes. What are the glimpses we saw today? So today we covered about Notebook LM. It's completely basically notes taking app and summarizing AI tools. And Google AI Studio. It's completely for programming stuffs and asking doubts about the AI. And Offer Boost, it's completely for mock interview, AI based mock interview. Devin is a software developer, and Devika is open source LLMs, large language model. And Bolt.u is basically creates front end things. And Vessel Vivo, it's completely it creates front end back end, and we can deploy the projects. Actually, we also deploy this projects now itself. We just publish, and we can publish. The entire applications will be deployed in the Bolt, and it will give the proper domain link with to access for everyone. So just for a second, and we can also download this code and customize as per our needs for future things. So this is the deployed link. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So yes, we are at the end of the session now. Students are already making prototypes and slide projects this way. In future, prompt plus idea is equal to startup. So future skill this will be a prompt engineering. So in 2010, people said learn C++. In 2025, people said learn Java, Python. In 2025, people say learn prompt engineering. Why? Because English itself, it becomes a new programming language. If you can give clear instruction, AI can build websites, app, resume, business plan, marketing campaigns, etc. Prompt is equal to power. That's the future skill. And the another one cool AI tool is people are now using for their academic automations. People like you, lecturers, HODs can use this product as automation. The name is called NI10. It is a workflow AI agent. It creates cool workflows for your complete automations. I created a project in this, like I'm just sleeping, completely sleeping. AI just doing AI just applying for what kind of roles, jobs I am fit for. So just applying the skills, and based on my resumes and strength and weakness, it will applies to the particular um, success probability high level jobs, and it will mail back the complete responses from the interviewer itself. I can create the complete workflow for that AI agent. So if I give the proper trigger process, it will work for around 24 hours. So basically, you also create a lot of cool stuff in the with the NI10 AI agent. So basically, it is completely open source. You just go to docs, and accordingly just just quickly learn about the stuffs and go to terminal, and it will gives the basic step-by-step process to install locally N10. If you want to log in directly to in the website, you have to pay for some domain charges for N10, but you can not go for this way. You can go with the complete free model with the N10 is completely hosted in locally. So yeah, we are at now end of the meet. So let me ask you, are you going to fear AI or use it? So if you feel it like you will be the ones who gets replaced, but if you master it, you will be the one who replaces others. Remember, AI is not replacing humans. Humans using AI or replacing humans not using AI. So finally, advice: don't fight AI, don't fear AI, train with AI, work with AI, lead with AI, because the one who controls the truth controls the future. So that's it for today. If you have anything want to ask about that AI tools, I'm very pleasure to answer your questions. Let's go to the Q&A session now. Yeah. Yes, I post that websites in the chat box now. Yes. Make use of it wisely. People are using currently now, actually. So anything else, if you want to ask something about AI, I can answer now. No. Thank you so much. Any platform provided free courses related to AI prompting. Actually, Google itself giving prompt engineering courses. Like you go for Google for education. I think screen was not shared. Just a minute. Google for education. So here we get lot of learning stuff, free courses here. So actually, so in Google AI Studio itself also lot of courses. And one more thing, uh, for college students and HODs and staffs, you can use GitHub student developer pack. So basically, what is this now? Lot of premier users like N10, ChatGPT. We can get 1 year free subscription by using our ID cards from this kind of active from this kind of platforms. So make use of it. This is called GitHub Student Developers Pack. So if I will put in chat box. Yes. So free AI tools. And if you want anything like open source, you want anything like open source, we people do some product with that. The name is self-hosted research. So basically, you can create your own college meeting links, meeting apps, LMS, whatever steps you can make it in itself own itself. Let me share the screen now. Just a minute. Yes. Self-host site. So basically, you can in apps you can ask a lot of stuff here. You go search any meet. So a lot of meet open sources are here with the GitHub link. You just go there, white label it, and fork it and customize as per your college needs. You can do it that. So for if this website name is called self-host.com. Okay. Yes, I posted in the chat. So anything else you guys want to ask means just bring me in text box. I will try to answer. Or else let's wrap up the session. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
For your kind information, we have attached two IEEE journals for your reference. Along with this discussion, kindly make use of it. I repeat, we have attached two different IEEE journals for your reference. Along with this discussion, make use of it. For your kind information, the reflective journal annexure is attached. Kindly fill it and submit it by tomorrow. I repeat, for your kind information, the reflective journal annexure is attached. Kindly fill it and submit it by tomorrow.
Madam, where is the feedback link for the last session? This session is just completed. Ma'am, feedback link, please.
It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to express my heartfelt thanks on behalf of Mahendra College of Engineering to our esteemed resource person, Engineer G. Surya Gnanavel, sir, for gracing us with your presence today. Sir, your inspiring words have not only added immense value for this event, but also left a lasting impression on all of us gathered here. We are deeply grateful for your time that you took in your busy schedule to be with us on this occasion and share your valuable thoughts, insights, and experience. Your presence here has truly elevated this occasion, and your words has enlightened, encouraged, and motivated us. We thank you for your graciousness, your wisdom, and your support. Thank you so much, sir.
Madam, where is the feedback link? Coordinator MCE.
Now, we kindly request all participants to take a few minutes to fill out the feedback form that will be sent in your chat box. Your responses and suggestions are valuable to us, and they will help us improve and organize even better programs in the future. We would be grateful if you could share your feedback forms with us at the earliest.
Thank you.
Ma'am, this is a kind request that 9 o'clock is a dinner time. Session is very good, but I want to mention this that you must share the feedback link slightly before. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I also agree to what Madam has said. This is basically the dinner time. So if you could send the feedback link a bit early, although all the sessions are very interesting. Hope you understand the problem of the spectators who have joined here. Thank you.
Thanks for your feedback, but we are suggested to be sending the feedback form at the end of the meeting. So please do kindly cooperate with us.
Ma'am, we are cooperating also. You can also cooperate by sending at least 5-10 minutes early.
We are just requesting for 5 to 10 minutes, not more than that.
Yes, coordinator, it's the same as my view. You can at least send it 5-10 minutes early. Rest is your decision.
We will kindly take this feedback and follow it from tomorrow. We kindly request all participants to take a few minutes and fill out the feedback form. Your responses and suggestions are valuable to us, and they will help us improve even better programs in the future.
Kana, what about the annexure, ma? Should we want to send it in WhatsApp group?
MC coordinator, would I request you to send the journals on the WhatsApp group, please? That's more convenient. I repeat the convener to please send the journal, research journals on the WhatsApp group like you did yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you for the feedback, sir. We will surely share it in the WhatsApp group as soon as possible.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night.
Actually, we want to know like what is the need of that reflection journal annexure? That is related to Atal or like anything? What is the need of it actually?
We need to collect samples.
Thank you for the feedback, sir. This is being suggested by the Atal, and we are following the instructions that have been given by the Atal, and this is linked with Atal as well.
Okay, Kana, how to share it, ma?
Ma'am, we have shared it in the WhatsApp group. Kindly do check it, and you can give your suggestions over the WhatsApp group.
No, ma'am is asking like after filling the form where we want to share it in WhatsApp group or like we want to share it to any mail ID in that way.
No, sir, you can do it in the WhatsApp group itself.
So we are your admin only can able to share that, no?
We'll soon relieve the setting, and we'll make sure everyone will be able to reply it on soon.
Thanks, ma.
Thank you.
We have taken your request, and as advised, the feedback form will be shared 5 or 10 minutes before the ending of the meeting. Kindly wait until then tomorrow. Once again, thank you so much to Dr. K. Suresh Joseph, sir, and Engineer G. Jayasurya Jnanavel, sir, for being part of this special day. We hope to continue this wonderful association in the future as well. It is with immense gratitude that I stand before you today to express our heartfelt thanks on behalf of the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, on behalf of Mahindra College of Engineering, Minnampally, Salem. I take this opportunity to extend a sincere appreciation to the AICTE and Learning Atal 6-day program Cultivating Innovation AI in Healthcare for sponsoring and supporting and organizing this program. This program has been a platform for us to gain valuable insights, interact with eminent resource persons, and explore constant encouragement and vision of AICTE Atal, which truly strives to empower faculty and institutions across the country. We also extend our gratitude to our management, respected principal, and organizing team for this tireless efforts. I also wish to place on record on our heartfelt thanks to the team and for their tireless efforts and all the participants for their active involvement, which made this program even more engaging and meaningful. Before we conclude, we kindly request all the participants to share their valuable feedback through the form that is being circulated. Your responses will help us learn, improve, and organize even better programs in the future. Once again, we wholeheartedly thank AICTE Atal Academy for their sponsorship and continued support. We also thank each and every one of you who has been a part of this journey. Let us carry forward this learning, the spirit of collaboration, and the motivation to apply this knowledge in our teaching and research endeavors. Once again, thank you to everyone who contributed to the success of this FDP. Thank you all.